Manchester was the premier leading industrial city of its day, and not for nothing did the Victorians nickname it Cottonopolis. As the years went by, countries which grew cotton also began to develop textile processing industries of their own. Looking back, we could say this was inevitable, but it was difficult and hard for Manchester to cope with. Manchester's success has always been built on creativity and innovation, harnessing the skills of its people to technology and trade. Manchester's past can be an inspiration for its future.
Urban Splash started up here in Manchester and Liverpool in the northwest of England 15 or 18 years ago, where we realised with this huge stock of fantastic buildings that were lying empty, old Victorian and Georgian warehouses mostly. The property industry had said they were worthless, and yet there were loads of young people, entrepreneurs, who wanted to find space in the city to live in or to work in, and so Urban Splash started by converting these old buildings. We started by working Juicy House, which was a managed workspace filled with artists and musicians and filmmakers and architects, and it was when the Manchester thing was going on, when the Hacienda was happening. There was a real creative buzz about it. Alongside that, there was a whole generation really of great property entrepreneurs, and mixed all these things with the blessing of the City Council, often the help of the City Council, making use of all undervalued assets. People moving back in the city centre to live and work and keep things moving forward.
I think KPMG is both local and global, and I think that's the beauty of working in an organisation like this, that you get the best of both worlds. So when we're dealing with, for example, Frank Roberts, who are family bakers based about 20 miles outside of Manchester, you know, they are truly local. Equally, we operate in over 140 countries across the world. We've got 137,000 people, of which 11,000 are in the UK. And we need to be in all those countries because a number of our clients have got offices and establishments across the world. But in specialist areas, certain sectors, so chemicals, for example, we need to ensure that we've got all those experts across the world to serve our clients who are in those sectors. So we are truly global.
UK Fast started with my wife, Gail Jones, and myself, where we tried to set up a domain name called thegallery.com. It was a real headache trying to get the hosting companies to understand what we were trying to do, and we were not particularly technical. It was new to us, the internet was new, and we realised that there was an opportunity there, and we needed to actually help other people not go through the same experience. From the two of us, in 1999, we've grown to 102. The thing that gives us a competitive advantage over other businesses is we are faster than everybody else. We understand the relationship between speed and successful websites. Manchester is a great place to have a business, especially a technology business. It's centrally located, so our servers are right bang in the middle of the country. We host hundreds of thousands of domain names for people, and we have global customers wanting to communicate with British consumers.
Fatted's Creative Studio are primarily a web design and print design agency. We specialise in everything from e-commerce through to e-marketing, direct mailers, corporate branding. We're based in the Innerspace incubator system right here in the city centre, which is run in part by the Manchester Metropolitan University.
Just the location itself has been a massive advantage. An M1 postcode with the train station just on our door, and the bus station as well is fantastic. There are a lot of other like-minded businesses in the area and in this incubator scheme itself, so there's a lot of knowledge sharing. If you didn't have a bit of entrepreneurial streak in you, you wouldn't survive, because it's what gets you out of bed in the morning, and it's what makes you passionate about what you do and the work that you create for people.
Well, what you see behind me is just the first phase of Media City. It's 38 acres of a 200-acre site, and we have already anchor tenants of both the BBC and Salford University. And it will be truly a city for media and technology and creative professionals. I think what's important about smaller businesses working here at Media City is that ultimately what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to provide them a platform where they can really up their game and engage with companies from all across the world. And Media City will help to provide a real critical mass and to bring businesses in from all over the world that can provide lots of commercial opportunities for the businesses in Manchester.
So this idea of creating these academies where young people are experiencing the world of work at probably at a much earlier stage than they would have done previously will prepare them for what they face. The real world is all around them, and the academy becomes part of that real world.
You know, the world is, you know, an open market. It's not the same as, you know, when I went to school, where possibly you got 1 or 2 jobs. You know, you stayed within the same profession. So what they need is not just knowledge, but they need transferable skills, the right professional attitude, and the ability to work with people, you know, of all, you know, different walks of life.
If we're going to build Manchester into a world-class place for industry, for commerce, and at the centre of the country, then it's important that we invest in the future. Firstly, education in schools is very closely aligned to our ethos and values, and we've been involved in schools for a long period. That means we can really bring some of the cooperativism out to the schools. But secondly, it gives us an ability to contribute into the development of high-quality talent out of the schools and into business in Manchester.
Although Manchester Met is clearly focused within Manchester and within the North West, we are very much aware that we work within a global economy, particularly within financial and professional services, within advanced manufacturing and within the new and emerging media industries. And many of our students progress onto global positions of significance. Graduates do require high value-added skills because it's an increasingly competitive employment market. It is a global market, and we know that we can no longer compete on the price of manufacturing, for example, alone. It is in terms of the intellectual value and skills and knowledge that we bring. And for our graduates to succeed in this incredibly competitive global market, it's vital that we give them considerable value added. And for me, that is about higher level skills. It's about the skills of creativity, of being able to challenge and think uniquely and individually.
Corridor Manchester is an area which runs from St Peter's Square in the centre down the Oxford Road, takes in about 600 acres, and it's where the University of Manchester, Manchester Metropolitan University and the Central Manchester Foundation Trust are situated. And the leaders of those institutions have come together with the City Council to say, we've got to make the most of this, we've got to make it all add up to more than our individual contributions. At the heart, it's about economic growth for the city and the city region. The ambition is for the corridor to be recognised globally as a place that is original, creative and smart, a place where knowledge is put to work and where you can touch and feel what the knowledge economy really means.
Here at the Manchester Bioscience Incubator, we're in the business of creating new startup businesses that may be developed through academic entrepreneurs with new ideas for new therapies, new drugs, or indeed from local entrepreneurs who want to be close to the academics and want to be in this environment where we, as UMIC, can assist in the creation and development of companies that are going to make a difference in the biotechnology business sector globally. So technology transfer is the process by which that information is generated and transferred from the university academic environment into a more commercial environment. Technology transfer is very important because it can be the substance upon which cities develop what's being described as a knowledge economy.
So doing our Manchester Independent Economic Review over the last 12 months has given us some solid evidence on what this city is good at, where the world economy is likely to play out in the future. We want to devise a strategy for the next 20 years, which will decide where we want to go and how we want to play our part in the global economy.